Justice Aisha Malik of Pakistan Supreme Court stated that the Election Commission of Pakistan has the authority to declare any candidate as independent. This statement was made during the hearing of the Sunni Ittihad Council's appeal against the Peshawar High Court's decision. The PHC had upheld the ECP's denial of reserved seats to the SIC, arguing that the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's nomination papers were invalid due to the party's failure to hold intra-party elections. Chief Justice Qazi Faiz Isa emphasized the importance of fair seat allocation. The SIC had appealed to the Supreme Court for reserved seats for women and minorities, which the PHC had denied due to the missed deadline. The federal government and ECP have urged the Supreme Court to reject the SIC's appeal. The Supreme Court has directed the ECP to provide details of the 2024 reserved seats and has adjourned the hearing. In anticipation of heavy rainfall in Punjab and Sindh, the National Disaster Management Authority has activated its National Emergencies Operations Center. Significant cloud activity from eastern India is expected to bring intense rain starting July 2nd, particularly affecting the upper catchments of the Sutlej, Ravi, and Chenab rivers. Lightning is expected in south and central Punjab and Islamabad from July 5th to 7th. Potentially causing herbal and flash flooding. The NDMA warns of high to low levels of flooding in the Sutlej River by July 10th and advises the public to stay informed, follow local authority instructions, and prepare emergency plans. Turning to the economy, headline inflation in Pakistan reached 12.6% in June, up from 11.8% in May, but below the 23.4% average for the financial year ending June 30th. According to the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, the Consumer Price Index rose 0.5% month-on-month in June, driven by Eid al-Adha holiday spending. Inflation has eased from a peak of 38% in May 2023, offering some economic relief. The central bank recently cut the main interest rates by 150 base points to 22%, with further cuts expected. This move is part of the government's effort to reduce the fiscal deficit and secure a $6 to $8 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. In related financial news, shares at the Pakistan Stock Exchange climbed more than 300 points on Monday on expectations of a new deal with the IMF. The benchmark KSE 100 index climbed 704.08 points, or 0.9%, to stand at 79,149.04 at 11:15 a.m. from the previous close of 78,444.96 points. By the end of the day, the index closed up at 78,824.33, up by 379.37 points, or 0.48% from the previous close. India has implemented an overhaul of colonial-era criminal laws praised as a watershed moment by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, but criticized for potentially slowing the already sluggish justice system. The new laws strengthen sex assault penalties, remove the sodomy law, extend police detention time, and shift some judicial power to the police, which has drawn criticism. Critics like Supreme Court lawyer Nipun Saxena argues the changes could increase pending cases by 30 to 40% and lack crucial safeguards. The laws were passed when over 100 lawmakers were suspended, leading to concerns about inadequate debate and potential constitutional violations. In political news, newly appointed leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi of the Congress Party, has criticized Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP and RSS, accusing them of promoting violence. Prime Minister Modi responded by stating that calling the entire Hindu society violent is a serious issue. Moving to sports, India is set to announce their new cricket coach after the World Cup winning team returns from the Caribbean. Leading candidates for the position include former cricketers Gautam Gambhir and W.V. Raman. According to the Board of Control for Cricket in India, The two have been shortlisted by the Cricket Advisory Committee. Gaza's Health Ministry reports that nearly 24 people have been killed and 100 wounded in Israeli strikes over the past day. According to the ministry, Israeli attacks killed 23 people and injured 91 others in 3 massacres against Palestinian families in the last 24 hours. The ministry also noted that many people are still trapped under rubble and on roads as rescuers struggle to reach them. Since October 7th, at least 37,900 people have been killed and 80,060 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza. Israel has recently released dozens of Palestinians detained during the conflict, including the director of one of Gaza's main hospitals. On Monday, Israel released 55 prisoners to free up space in its jails, as reported by the Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation. Among those released was Mohammed Abu Salmiya, the director of Al-Shifa Hospital. Abu Salmiya, who was detained for over 7 months, spoke out about the harsh conditions faced by Palestinian prisoners, including daily physical and psychological abuse, inadequate medical care, and severe undernourishment. Israeli officials have previously denied allegations of mistreatment. Hamas has responded to the release, stating that the condition of the prisoners confirms the criminal behavior of the Israeli occupation. They called out on the international community and the United Nations to protect detainees and urged the International Committee of the Red Cross to reveal the fate of thousands of Palestinian detainees allegedly being held in inhumane conditions. Meanwhile, diplomats based in West Jerusalem and Ramallah have condemned the Israeli destruction of Palestinian buildings during a visit to al-Khair in Hebron. Representatives from Belgium, Canada, Denmark, the European Union, Finland, France, Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, and the United Kingdom noted that this was the largest demolition operation in the occupied West Bank since October 7th. The diplomats witnessed the aftermath of the Israeli demolition of residential structures, a community center, and an electric generator. The delegations called on Israel to respect its obligations under the Fourth Geneva Convention, including the prohibition of forcible transfer, and to stop demolitions and confiscations of Palestinian properties. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has formed a new cabinet over a month after the elections resulted in his African National Congress losing its majority for the first time since 1994. Ramaphosa announced 32 ministerial positions, with 20 going to the ANC, 6 to Democratic Alliance, and the rest to smaller coalition parties. This power-sharing agreement follows the ANC's loss of parliamentary majority while just 40% of the vote, winning just 40% of the vote, while the DA took 21%. The new government, formed after weeks of negotiations, aims to address poverty, poor services, and inequality. DA leader John Steenhuisen was appointed Minister of Agriculture, while the ANC retained key portfolios like trade and industry. The coalition's success will depend on overcoming ideological differences, such as the DA's opposition to some ANC policies on black empowerment and land expropriation. In a new development, the European Commission has charged Meta for breaching the EU's Digital Markets Act. The tech giant faces scrutiny over its pay or consent advertising model, introduced in last November for Facebook and Instagram in Europe. This move, seen as the EU's latest crackdown on big tech, offered users a choice: targeted ads based on personal data or paying to opt out. However, the EC contends this choice doesn't ensure freely given consent or provide an equivalent ad-free experience. Meta, facing potentially fines up to 10% of its global turnover, defends its model as compliant with EU laws and pledges to cooperate with the investigation. This change marks another step in the EU's efforts to regulate tech giants under the DMA, following recent actions against Apple and ongoing concerns about online safety and misinformation.